Welcome to today's episode of Jewel Users Anonymous.
3, 2, 1. And we're live.
Hello.
So what's up, dude? When are we going to get that Campton booster pack number 2? Because I've been sitting on the first booster pack for way too long. For years, bro. For years.
Mister, I don't have any topics and you come out swinging.
Come out mad swinging.
I'd say OG Schemin on the Aux is Booster Pack 2.0. The playlist on Spotify. That being said, you're absolutely right. I think we need a little more pizzazz when we do the second round, though. You know, it needs to be a little more hard hitting. I gotta cut the fat on some of the, I guess for lack of a better word, shitty tracks in there. So
you can lower your mic a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't need it directly in front of your face. I usually just tilt it up like this.
Tilt it.
Yeah, just give it a little tilt.
Little kiss.
People want to see you noggin. Give it a little patty kiss.
Little patty kiss.
Little patty kiss.
I don't know how to fucking tilt this. The fuck.
There you go.
There
and then
you
push it
go.
down.
Oh, see.
Oh, sir.
See.
But yeah, I mean, trimming the fat is definitely a little helpful when it comes to booty bump and rap playlists. I guess if you would call it that.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue though in trying to create a new booster pack is, you know, when we did version 1 like 5-6 years ago. You know, it was all through pirated music, bot music, stuff like that sitting on my iTunes. Now we live in this world of streaming where like I have to go sit there and can make a playlist, you can toss along, which is fine, but it also kind of makes the options a little more how do you want to put it? Excessive, as it were. The end of the day, it's very difficult to drown out all the noise when you're trying to pick a song, or multiple songs at that. And when you want to keep a vibe going, you want to keep a musical aesthetic, as it were. It's definitely a little more difficult now than it was in 2014.
I get that though too, because like back in that time when I was DJing a bunch, which is like what your rap pack booster pack helped me out with. It's like I would pirate music or have it like YouTube downloaders or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I could just like take whatever track, throw it on and fucking DJ with it. But like now, I mean, I haven't DJed in a while, but I remember like near the end when I stopped, like that shit was coming out. And I just remember hearing like a banger and being like, oh, I want to mix this. And then it doesn't let you. That or like editing, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would use like just like an editing software, and since I don't own it, like I would try to drag it from iTunes and it'd be like, you can't use this. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I'm trying to make like
Streamers only.
like for our like end of the year videos or whatever. Like I'm just like, come on.
It's a pain in
bro.
the ass. No, I agree. I think and some of the stuff I've been lately into as well is really like, it's not just individual songs. I really like, you know, kind of like old-fashioned mixtapes, almost as you were, where maybe for your and my age it's not as uncommon, but I think for people younger than us by a couple years, you know, the concept of getting an 8-track or a cassette tape and like putting it in the radio and having to record it based off the song on the radio and knowing when to cut it right at the time.
So it's like good, you know?
Yeah. You know, people
Or
are like,
CDs, mixing CDs.
Exactly. And people are all like, oh, that's something that's left to like, you know, 90s and 80s kids. It's like, I don't know where you were living, but I was still using a cassette tape easily until like 12, 13.
2012? Okay.
No, not 2012, like the age of 12.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
about to say I won't.
My parents were significantly behind in technological developments. I think we got our first like not analog TV in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
No, not like 2006.
I feel that.
Yeah.
We got ours. We got like our first like flat screen or whatever. I guess it wasn't flat because it was like that fucking big.
Yeah, like thick boys.
The day
Yeah.
that it was for the Super Bowl when the Colts won. I think it was 7 or 8,
It's definitely not 7.
9.
It was.
I don't remember. Might have been earlier. 2005. When did they fucking win?
I think it was 2006.
2006.
2007 was. We just forget that football year happened.
2007 was the what's it called? Patsy's and
The
Giants.
Pats and Giants first.
So it
one,
must have been either 6 or 5.
I think it was 6.
Colts
I could be
Super
completely
Bowl.
wrong.
I think it might have been.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, it says 2007, bro. I was right.
Right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so for the '06 season.
Oh, true.
For everyone listening, Super Bowls
So
are
you-
played in the next calendar year of the season that they're
Yes,
from.
but the way I was talking, I said '07, and we did. So we got our television in the year 2007. So fuck you. I was right.
Okay.
Do you want to cut this right now, bro? We could cut it right now if you don't want to be embarrassed anymore.
If this is
the
if
route
this
you
is how
wanna
you
go
try
down.
to win an argument, then by all means,
Like
you're welcome to the petty zone.
2007,
Yeah.
and
No, that's the to back on
07
topic, though.
till
07 till but back on topic. I just had to use multiple not up to date technological devices as I grew old. I don't think I got my first smartphone until like 21. I mean, it's a great story when I was in college, my freshman year. When the View 922 place was called the View. We ended up going to a party with Chun at Chun's place.
yeah.
Got as wild as you would expect it to be. But I had like this brick Motorola phone. Like, like it was tiny.
Just
Like,
tossing bricks.
yeah, it's this
everywhere.
tiny little phone, flip phone. You could text and send like mediocre pictures on it. It was whatever. But I remember
Play
just
Tetris.
yeah, like something stupid like that. I remember casually just leaving it on the kitchen counter, for whatever reason, and then got drunk, forgot about it, and then woke up the next day. I was like, oh my god, where's my phone? What did I do with it? I think I went over 3 p.m. that day to the place, and I was like, hey, do you guys have my phone? They're like, oh yeah, it's still on the kitchen counter right there, and it's just sitting there. Like nobody was taking these bricks in
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
So and I think that was the point where I was just like, man, I probably should never get a smartphone. And then,
When you realized no one was gonna steal it.
yeah, I was like, do I even trust myself with this technology? Because what's to say I wouldn't leave my phone, again. But now you can call me cracked God because all of my cell phones just get cracked within a week.
Why
So,
don't you have a fucking case?
man, it beats the aesthetic.
The
It
aesthetic.
beats the aesthetic. I like looking like a drunk ass 21-year-old chick that lives in New York City that
See,
can't control her phone.
That's
the
what
lifestyle.
I ain't about the aesthetic. I'm about functionality.
Functional.
About comfort.
Man, then why don't you just get a flip phone? Make phone calls, do texts, all the
Yeah,
same
because
stuff.
but this is fine, dude. Because I got my wallet and my phone, and people are like, "Oh, well, if you lose your phone, you'll lose your wallet." It's like, well, don't fucking lose your phone then. But you only got to worry. But that's the thing. You only got to worry about one thing. You don't have to worry about wallet, keys,
That's what I'm
phone.
saying. People will
It's just
like.
phone, keys.
Yeah, people will tell me all the time because, like I was saying, I've said multiple times, I'm a big loser of objects. I have that sign in my office that says, Sam, do you have phone, wallet, car keys, house keys, jewel? Like, it's, all of the necessities in life. And every day I got to sit there and, like, slap my pockets, slap my butt pockets, like, just make sure I got everything. Yeah, like, pop, 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 pop.
You're a pet.
Yeah,
Oh, go SpongeBob.
give me with that pat down.
Go
so,
Campton.
It's and to the reason why I'm even bringing this up, people tell me all the time, they're like, oh man, if you lose your house keys, or oh man, if you lose your car keys, like why not just attach them? And I'm like, what? And then lose both? Like at one point, if I lose my car keys, like I could still get in my house, right? If I lose
Yeah.
my house keys, I could still get to my house and then have someone open the door for me.
Bro, whatever
You lose
works.
both.
Whatever works, you know.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you could take a lift. I'm like,
I will say
$20.
it's so much nicer though. Like our phones really do make it so much easier because it's like you don't have to carry an MP3 anymore. No more iPods. No more nothing.
no more
like,
CD player.
Like no more CD player. No more Walkmans. I remember, dude. This is. I'll take you back. I'll take you back.
Okay.
So my parents weren't too broad in their music sense. Like my mom listened to Latin music. Selena.
let's say not
and-
like the mariachi stuff.
No,
right?
no. Just like Latin pop. Like,
Basically, like the intro to Ring of Fire. on
fucking
repeat.
Shakira when she used to be very Latin, Luis Miguel. You know who Luis Miguel is?
No, but
Luis.
that sounds very Latino.
They call him Luis Me. He's basically like the Mexican Justin Timberlake, but like twice as big.
Isn't that Enrique Iglesias though?
Enrique Iglesias is like that, but Enrique Iglesias is like lesser Luis Me, but like Luis Miguel is like the top pop icon for like generations where Enrique Iglesias came later. You know what I'm saying?
I guess that's fair. So it'd be
Enrique
like
Iglesias is
comparing
like,
it to like
the Justin Bieber to Justin Timberlake. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's what you listen to. And then my dad's just like a big jazz guy, classical music. So like I grew up, I had no idea that there was rock, rap, nothing.
hippity hoppity.
My dad would just listen to like smooth jazz radio,
Yeah.
and my mom almost never listens to the radio in the car. So one day we're going to Walmart. And I'm walking with my mom. I must have been in 3rd, 4th grade. Maybe you can help me. And I look on the ground and I find a CD just in the parking lot of a Walmart. It's upside down. So I'm like, okay, shit, like it's not on the actual thing, so it might work. I look at it, there's no scratches. I turn it around. Fast and the Furious soundtrack of the first movie. I literally don't know how, but it's like it was on the way back to the car, so I didn't tell anything. I just put it in the bag and I just walked. And so I went home and I found the Walkman and I put it in the Walkman and we were going to a park. So my mom takes me and my little sister to the park. And so I just go to like the little jungle gym area, you know, and I sit down and I put it in there. I don't know why I was being so fucking secretive with the CD, but I just like wanted, it was cool because it's like, I'd never seen the movie, but it was like a car and it looked all cool.
Your mom would have finessed that out of you.
She would have she would have not dug it because I played it. And the first song that came on was, what's it called? Bad Bitches 3 or no, what's fuck?
Whoa, you got to remember the song if you're going to do this.
Oh, Bitch Please 3. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Bitch, please.
You know we're all a little bit hungover today because you're visiting. But yeah, Bitch Please 3 came on.
Okay.
For a third grader, it was a bit aggressive. Or no, it must have been second grade because after that, I got really into it. And I started looking it up. And the internet was barely out, but we had MTV. So I threw on MTV. And what comes on? I'll take you to the candy shop.
Bum, 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 bum.
And I got, dude, it was so different. I got in a fist fight. My first ever fist fight was I rolled up to school and these kids were talking about Candy Shop. And I was like, oh, I love that song. I just saw it. And they're like, no, you fucking didn't. I was brand new to this school. So like I had just moved there and they're like, no, you fucking didn't. I was like, yes, I did. They're like, no, you're such a loser. Your mom probably doesn't even let you like listen to music like that with customers. I was like, yes, I did. I listened to that song. And he like pushed me and then we got a little tussle over Candy Shop. But I fuck with 50 Cent. I'll fight, you know.
Old 50 Cent cannot be touched in terms of 2000s like rap legends. I mean, let's be real here. If he puts out Get Rich or Die Trying and then...
Still haven't seen the movie.
Oh, of course, I'm forgetting his second one. Massacre and then Curtis and he just ends it right there. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, Curtis isn't like the best album in the world. I think it's more known for... This is probably before a lot of people's time when he did the competition with Kanye. Where Kanye's dropping his third album, 50's dropping his third album, and 50 puts out this public challenge to him where he's like, who's going to sell more units at the time? Because I was still really attracted by CD sales. And
they were the top around that time.
And then Kanye just blew his ass out the water because Graduation is still
it's
it's his second best tape.
You can't even... Wait, what do you think is his first?
Oh, it's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay, thank you.
There's no... You can't argue that because... What went into, because that wasn't just the album, right? He did the whole movie about it. I mean, that still
it was a cultural movement.
It's just a radical departure from what at the time, right? So he comes in, he drops Graduation, and you're like,
he had a completely different persona.
Yeah, and that was almost like, to me, that album was the equivalent of, you know, kind of like stadium rock for rap music. Like all of those,
the performance and everything, he was really bringing out that extra oomph.
That is when really the performance artist and who we now know as Kanye kind of created. Because Through the Wire and stuff like that was this was just a rap album, right? I mean, he got in the car accident when he was doing the producing, and there's all the stories that go on about how he's very, you know, he was going, I want to say it was not No ID. It was, I think Just Blaze. He kept going to Just Blaze's studio and mixing and then trying to get himself on tracks, and then he gets on that track with Jay-Z and starts doing it there, and that's how it all blew up. But yeah, I mean, so Graduation in and of itself was, to me, that's obviously one of his bigger albums. Then he does 808s and completely changes rap for what we know, right? That was pretty much the birth of throwing auto-tune into a song, and so that got pretty wild. And then he drops My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So he goes through these three massive shifts in content, theme, and creation, right?
You got to remember too that he drops Yeezus right afterwards.
Yeah, and
which was equally as fucking radical. Like,
yeah, Yeezus gets overshadowed. I think it sits in this really weird pocket because
it's gotten better with time.
It has. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy just had such a long runtime, and it was such a focal point, at least in hip hop, for when I was, you know, in college. That was really like this big thing.
Yeah.
I still remember his like Coachella performance where it's literally like him and one guy on the beat machine and they did the whole album.
Yeah.
And you're like, if that's what he's doing, then, you know, he's going to be killing the game. But Yeezy really did get overshadowed. Or Yeezus.
Yandhi coming soon?
No. Yandhi's going to be up there like TurboGrafx 64 and like every Uzi album ever of all time.
Here's the thing. They say Turbo... I hate when people he just changed the name. Like TurboGrafx is probably the same project that he ended up coming out with. It's just changed the name. But anyway,
yeah, I mean it's got to be good,
dude.
It's got to be good.
I get your feelings and why you're scared, but like Uzi says he's gonna come out with something very soon. I mean, I know he said that, but then he quit, and now he's coming back, and like.
I would be not surprised if Uzi still takes the entirety of 2019 to not fucking. Yeah, he's not going to drop it. I mean, the guy is still hopping on singles. I mean, all of those songs when he was doing the leaks where he was dancing on IG Live and stuff to it, like all of those got pushed out to different artists, right? Like I think the one he did with Block Boy ended up on one of his tapes. Who else?
He's going to be like the next Frank. Like,
don't do that. No, well, and let's be real here. Frank Ocean.
This is what you're saying. This is what you're saying.
No. Frank Ocean is in a different caliber because
I'm not talking about artistic wise.
Do you remember what we were doing and where we were when Blonde dropped?
Yeah.
That, or was it not Blonde, or was it the?
It was Blonde.
It was Blonde that dropped because there was. Then he did the audio visual like album right before.
I think. Are you talking about like the black and white one where he's like on the ladder or whatever?
Yeah,
that's what we were watching that together. I remember that.
Yeah, but then when Schladegate happened, was that Blonde?
No, it was the same weekend.
Yeah, so it was the audio visual album.
I think the audio visual might have been that night.
Yeah, I think it's Endless is what it was called.
Yeah, and then a couple days later or whatever.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about that night?
About Schladegate?
Yeah. We could dive into that a little bit.
We can. I'll probably save that one for Ethan, though.
That's fair. That's fair. He got a little more impacted by it.
You were just annoyed. You were just strap in, don't keep your arms, legs, and head inside the vehicle of all time.
Any alumni ever visiting their college,
don't hang out with your friends.
Don't hang out with your friends on campus property. Just like TLDR.
Especially, it was just, yeah. I don't want to get into it, but
such trash.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know.
Sam Campton dodging cases since
you don't know. You don't know. You
done nothing.
But all right, so I unfortunately I've just been so busy and like so out of the game. I don't know. I'm kind of in a weird spot with music right now because, like, honestly, I've been jamming a lot to, like, old classic rock. Like, get into, like, early, like, 60s, like, mid-60s classic rock.
You still on that Motley Crue tip from when I was last out?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it kind of died down because it's, like, you go in waves. Like, you know, I've had waves. So, like, obviously, I got in, like, a big Queen phase, like, years ago.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the movie came out, I got back into it. And then the Motley Crue movie came out, and I got back into it. And then I was in a big Led Zeppelin phase and, like, Pink Floyd. And it's just, like, I really deep dive into it. Like, I start looking up, like, the lives of, like, what they were doing and all the crazy shit. And, like, trying, like, I had no idea that, like, Pink Floyd, like, half of their albums were about, or, like, the Dark Side of the Moon was about, like, their drummer or some shit who had, like, schizophrenia. And, like, who was like, it's about like one of the guys from the band who had like a mental disorder, and they're talking about him throughout the album. I had no idea. So I don't know. I've been kind of sad with rap lately. It's a lot of this in my mind, and I'm welcome to hear your take on it because it's probably more hot than my take. But like, I feel like we had this awesome. So we really went through this, like, there was just normal rap with, like, Drake. It was very, I would guess you could say, like, business rap, because it was all of, you know, with Birdman and shit and all the dealings where he couldn't release his music, and then you had Drake and Nicki Minaj, and they were in that thing, but then they split off because it was all business. It was all fucking about money and whatever. And then we got this, like, new kind of mumble rap SoundCloud phase that Migos really started off, which led to Thugger, which led to 21, which led to Uzi. Yeah. And that,
let's be real here. The godfather of mumble rap for this age is Future. When that man was dropping like astronaut status back when I was like a sophomore.
Future and Uzi, or Future and Migos definitely paved the way with Gucci Mane. Yeah, obviously being the godfather of it all. But
him and Boosie.
But anyway, we had that for a good couple years. Yeah. And I would say, what was like 2013, 2015, 2016-ish. Yeah. And then we just got into this weird fucking, which I think is over, is the weird white kid like rap shit. like all the like the face
Oh,
tats,
like
the
Matt
face tats,
Ox
Triple
and
X, Matt
those
Ox,
kids.
all that weird
Yeah.
shit. And then I feel like hopefully that like that's done now, like Lil Xan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's done, and now we're in this other section where it's like Lil Baby and all those kind of guys where it like JB and like Block Boy and
I feel
shit,
like we're
and
almost
it's like,
moving towards vibe rap.
yeah, it's like very, I don't want to call it Southern, but it's like very, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where it's the beats are a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
They're not as jazzy, they're not as like light, and they're kind of very subtle. They're just subtle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the
And don't get me wrong, we have sprinkles of Kendrick and all that stuff in there.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
you know, for the most part.
Yeah. So one of the I think one of the better like well, actually, let me back up and let me throw a take out there first, right? I don't think that hip hop is in a bad place right now. With that said, I think there are some caveats that we need to establish, though. I think one, overall, the SoundCloud generation has kind of polluted the ecosystem, as it were. And I don't want to say that as like a rap purist, because I'm not a, you know, it's almost like it's someone like on the outside looking in, but it's someone who's been on the outside looking in for like 19 years. So
push the mic a little bit.
This one?
Yeah, you're too close to it.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, it's a you know, this is a natural progression of where things have been. We kind of talked about it a little bit, how Kanye really was pushing the envelope with each album, and you can tell after each album dropped that subsequent releases from different artists were very, you don't want to say copycat, but they definitely were plucking things from Kanye at the time, right? And I think that ended when Yeezus dropped, because Yeezus really dove hard into that industrial, like, experimental sound that almost sounded like a Nine Inch Nails album on some level. And that's, to me, that's kind of when it, I don't want to say fell apart, but no one kind of stepped up and really kind of push the genre forward sonically again, right? A lot of the development in my mind has been
the risks.
Yeah, there's no risk taking, at least sound and sonically, but you still have people, you know, like Kendrick Lamar,
Schoolboy.
Let's be real, the black hippie crew in general, right?
Those boys take risks.
Yeah.
I mean, like Ab-Soul, like that's a
Ab-Soul.
risky dude.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first concerts I saw in Tempe was Ab-Soul, Joey Badass, and the Underachievers. And Ab-Soul was doing his crazy. Basically, the best way to describe it was like hippie rap from LA.
Yeah, it's like I would call it acid rap, but that's kind of the moniker taken by Chance now.
Yeah,
but like it's like hippie acid, like trippy fucking.
Yeah, and so I mean, you got like people like that kind of pushing stuff. You got Joey Badass and the Pro Era clique up there doing the same
They're still
thing.
holding down like that East Coast like boom bap shit.
Yeah, and then you got Flatbush kind of coming doing the same thing. Underachievers, I feel like every other tape they do is very good, and then they drop one where you're like,
and that's what I'm saying. All those dudes who are really well known are risk takers and own their own thing.
Yeah,
but then we have this wave of really popular dudes. So like I feel like, and we can kind of let the people know too, is like, so we are part of a group, a group on Facebook between friends who we just share music all the time, and it's a rap group, so it's not like I'm putting up Pink Floyd, but like every time I see a post on there, it's just like not every time, but for the most part, it's like this like weird genre that I see with like.
It's the SoundCloud world's take on rap music. I mean, and I think
it's like post SoundCloud.
Yeah, like what we're starting to allude to is a lot of these names we just brought up, they didn't come in through the SoundCloud, right? Like really the only subset of rap that has gone from SoundCloud, you know, made the jump to mainstream really are those, you know, Southern rappers, right? Like you got Uzi, you got Thug, you got 21, Ray Sremmurd.
They need to put out another album.
Yeah, they do need to put out another album. Who am I forgetting? The main person I want to bring up here. Oh, Playboy Carti. Playboy Carti is the future of rap music.
Lil Yachty.
That's the hot take I want to just spit out right now. That Playboy Carti is the future of rap music. I've sat down with someone who was able to really like piece apart or like pick apart his song and really kind of go layer by layer. You know, you listen to it and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, it's just this guy mumbling. You don't know what the hell he's saying. And you're just like, oh, like it sounds good. But then you like actually sit there and you look at how the song is set up. The guy's vocals are an instrument.
Yeah.
Right? It's why it's almost like when people say they listen to Playboi Carti, they're not listening for the content, they're listening for the vibe. And that is true 100% when it comes to his music. Like his voice is used as an instrument just as an 808 drum would be, or a horn or something like that. And I think we're going to start to see, I don't think we'll see good interpretations of it, but really out of that SoundCloud realm, that's kind of like the one, I think, positive thing that's come out of the rap music. I also think as well this Lucy culture that we live in with singles and all this stuff floating around where you just like put out a damn album.
That's
like,
and that's what I'm tired of too. Is like every single time I turn on the page, it's like this person dropped a single, this person dropped a song, this dropped a song, and it's like it just feels like Lucy. It feels like a snack. It's like when you're hungry and you just go get like a chip, or you just go get like a little handful of trail mix. It's like good, but you're just wanting more, and it's not satisfying. And that's the thing is like I hear one song and it's like that's dope, but I'm not gonna replay the same song 5 fucking times, and so I don't. Without an album, you don't get a chance to get into a mood, into a phase, as opposed to like, when Kendrick fucking dropped Damn, I listened to Damn, and then I listened to it again, and then I listened to his other shit, and then I listened to his other shit, and then I get
Heart
around.
Part 4, if you remember.
The Heart Part 4. But everyone knew the album was coming, and in that song, he talks about like all the shit.
It's
and, like,
coming.
It's coming. So it's like you knew that was like a prelude. That was an appetizer.
Yeah.
But then we got a full fucking chorus, and that chorus was huge. I mean, that's Damn. But it's like still like the same thing happened with Schoolboy. Like you get an album, and it like you can hear it once, and then you can go back to it. You can hear it again, and you can fucking let it. You can let it simmer. Yeah. Because it's like he's very interesting because he takes risks, and he says like, I don't make music for people. He's like, fuck y'all. Yeah. Like, I don't make music for you guys. I make music because like it's fun and because I think it sounds good. And like, I genuinely think like when people do art for themselves is like, there's always something special. But because he does that, I feel like he is experimental and I feel like he is different. And it doesn't sound like what we're used to from him or from like modern, like popular rap. So it comes off really weird, just how Yeezus did. Yeah. But over time, it'll start to get more. Because like when his last album came out, like I liked like 2 songs.
And then it grows on you.
And then it grows on you.
And then it grows.
And you're just chilling and a song comes on and you're like, oh, Schoolboy. And you're like, wait, okay, I don't remember this one, but this one's fucking sick. Like it just kind of like... It grows. Yeah.
I've never liked a Schoolboy album on first listen. It's never like, it's the same thing. Like I'll pick out a couple songs like
maybe
Crash.
Oxy, because Oxy was pretty.
Oxy was good, but Crash on his new Crash album, that was really good. And I think I finessed the song with
the single was great, obviously too. Yeah.
Then the chopsticks. That's the only song that won't grow.
That song's a fucking meme. Okay, so so I fucking hated that song and like we always made fun of it and I would make fun of it with Staley and like we would eat Chinese food and I'd just be like, can you pass me the chopsticks? And it just got so bad.
Chopsticks.
We were just every time we'd be like, what do you want to eat? Get the chopsticks. The chopsticks. Dude,
you should see me try to eat food with chopsticks. It's so bad. We go to this sushi joint next to my company like probably once a week, me and a couple coworkers, and we always get the same thing. They do this like bento box meal. If you anyone that listens, if you've never had a bento box, eat a bento box.
Well, explain what a bento box is. Well, if they've never eaten it, they don't know what it is.
Fair. So like, bento box is like,
I mean, I know what it is.
I don't want to say it's specifically Japanese. I think it is a Japanese word. But it's basically almost like a lunchbox. Right, where they put the items individualized in these little containers in there, and it's all neat and packed together, and it's organized. But anyway, you go to this restaurant, you get, a bento box. It's like 2 pieces of sushi, a meal, some like pickled ginger, some stuff like that, right? It's really bomb. But, they don't give you utensils there. Like also, let me cut back a second. This place is like OG Japanese restaurant, right? So you walk in, you got to take your shoes off. The tables are slightly elevated off the floor and you have to like slip in and sit under the floor.
How have you not fucking taken me to this spot every time I visit LA? Like,
you've been like once.
You have been there once?
No, I said you've been there like once.
To LA? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was a lie.
Okay. What are you talking about?
That's a lie. No, I mean, but yeah, so we'll have to dip up there. It's in Marina Del Rey. It's a little far, but...
Yeah, but it's worth the drive if it's that dang.
It is pretty good. But yeah, they don't give you utensils, right? They give you chopsticks. And so...
Would you say it's better than Nobu?
No.
So it's not like super dank sushi. It's just
No,
like,
it's like normal
it's
sushi.
good for-
yeah,
okay.
yeah. There's another great, speaking of sushi places, there's another great sushi place in Santa Monica, Kazunori.
yeah.
So it's like this little bar thing, right? Like you walk in, it's literally just a bar. You get a little card and you select from like 8 pre-options. And basically there's these dudes in the middle who just make hand-rolled sushi. That's it. Like they don't cut it. You just get it in a roll like a little mini burrito. And yeah, so you write your option down. You're like, I want a beer. You hand it to them. They bring you your drink. And then one by one, they'll just bring you and whoever's like in your little group there, like just rolls one at a time, right? And they go in a circle. So they attach everyone at the bar one at a time.
Yeah.
Easily top 3 sushi I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Yeah. The lobster gets a little, the lobster's a little too mayo-y there. So not a huge fan of that. But everything else I've had
pretty
there
dank.
is extremely good.
You know, it's weird because sushi is such an art. Like, I like Nobu a lot, but it's definitely a different, I don't know, it's just different as opposed to like, there's this place up here in like over by TPC. It's just like a little hole in the wall spot, but it's fucking some of the most amazing.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it.
Yeah, my dad took me there years ago.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. And it's super dank. But my goal, dude,
Feels like you're in an opium den.
and I've spoken to like my parents, and I've like to Staley, I was like, dude, one day, like I don't give a fuck. I want to go to one of those, like whether it's in Japan or New York or whatever, one of those like super crazy, like just like Jiro Dreams of Sushi shit, where it's like, it's like 7 customers, 2 dinners a day.
You ain't picking what you eat.
You ain't picking what you eat. It's 300 minimum per person.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and you watch this guy and he's going to give you whatever. If you like, and you just got to suck it up. If you don't fucking like, you know, eggs, or you don't like tuna, or you don't like octopus, too fucking bad because you paid for it and it's the best shit. And like, I might have hyped it up too much for myself, but like, it just seems like so sick. And like, these are dudes who like,
it's their art.
They dream of sushi, and it's like that's what I want to fucking do.
I will say this though, it is once you go to high quality sushi, right? Like there's a lot of, and I feel like I'm gonna piss off so many people when I say this. There are a lot of food items where like you can only get incremental improvement on it, right? Like I'm
hamburgers.
A hamburger. That was the number one example I was gonna use. Like there's obviously a big step up from a McDonald's hamburger.
There's like 3 levels in my eyes.
3? Ooh, we're gonna have to talk about that. So there's like. Yeah, so we got like a McDonald's, right? That's your tier 1 or your bottom tier. And then you could have like some midi chain, right? Like I almost want to say Red Robin maybe. That's like tier 2. Yeah. That's like, it's not ass. It's not great. But you're like, I'm not going to like hate my life after I eat this like you would with McDonald's burger. And then you got like your 3 spot, which is like those nice, you know, like a restaurant type of, like a normal restaurant. I wouldn't say nice restaurant, like a normal restaurant, like a cold beer and cheeseburgers type of place, right? Okay. And then you got like your tier 4, which is like you're at like a steakhouse, right? But really the difference when you start to get up above like that Red Robin style, like there's really none. Like any joint that asks you, like, do you want it medium, medium rare, medium well, rare? Like
after that,
it's all the same. It's incremental at best.
I gotcha.
What can you top it with? Now sushi though, there are jumps between quality depending on location.
I'll just say I would agree with you with the 4. Okay. I usually like 3 and 4 for hamburgers. I usually kind of link together. Yeah. Because like cold beer and cheeseburgers, like the meat might not be top quality, but there's so much added to it that it can be like special and unique, as opposed to if you just get like a really good fucking like Wagyu beef burger, like that's just the dink. So I would say 3 to 4, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. And with sushi though, you have like legitimate tiers, right? You have like garbage, grocery market,
sushi,
gas station sushi, right? Yeah. Which like it all tastes the same, tastes like butt.
Then you got rotating sushi.
Yeah, and then you have like a rotating buffet style sushi, which like is whatever, I guess. Like if you live out in Arizona,
if you're fucking hungry,
sushi,
like if you're hungry and you don't want to spend, because it can be expensive, so it's like
yeah.
If you want to spend like fucking $16 and eat a lot and not just get like 2 rolls, then
and then you got like your next joint, which would be like a
raw.
I don't want to. No, I wouldn't even. I'm never.
You put raw down there?
No, we're getting there.
Oh shit.
Joint 3 would be like the. Actually, we can throw raw into that. It's
Raw's
like
pretty bland.
Yeah, it's like it's your white person's take.
Yeah.
If I got a dude from like Illinois making my sushi, it doesn't matter where I am. It's gonna just be whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But once you really exit that raw
chain
tier,
commercial sushi.
Yeah. Exactly. Once you exit that raw tier though, that's where it like there are noticeable jumps. There's a noticeable jump between like a mom and pop Japanese sushi joint in downtown San Francisco, right? Which is already going to be a step above raw. But in the same city, you can go to like a $200 a plate location, like up in like a, you know, in the Fine Eye district or something.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a step up, right? And then, you know, raw is gonna be a step up. And those are all, in my mind, like not incremental. Those are like, you can still tell there's a quality difference when you go through each one. Maybe I eat like too much sushi.
Dude,
Like,
but I probably do too, though. Like,
Yeah.
because it's just so, and like you said, like, even really good tuna, how it's prepared, when it was prepared, it makes a difference.
Really
and
does.
like I always try the, like, whenever I hit a new spot, you always got to get the sashimi.
Yeah,
Because
salmon
that's when
sashimi.
you can tell that's
Straight
the
up.
biggest difference. It's because it's just straight up, like,
So you know if the fish is good or not.
yeah. If you can just like it, just there's ones, dude, where it just melts.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do anything.
Good sushi is worth the money, really. At the end of the day, that's probably one of the only food items where like I would prefer to spend more money.
I agree. You know what else is good?
What?
Booze.
Booze is good.
So
Booze
why
is
don't we
good.
take an incremental break?
I would like to, but I have
And
one thing
booze.
I'd like to make sure we talk
Oh.
about.
Okay.
I want to know what your top 5 of 2019 for hip hop are so far.
Let's save it for the next one because I
Save it.
gotta take. I don't want to. I can give you a hot take, but I'd rather take a second and look through it and be able to talk to you about each one.
What he's saying is he needs to Google.
Yeah, I need to Google what came out in
Real
2019 because I could be like, that's a good song. You're like, yo, that came out December 2018. Cut.
Screw up.
Like, fuck.
Yeah. Also, the one last thing I wanted to get in that we didn't get to touch on, if we want to talk about SoundCloud artists who have figured it out, Lil Pump.
Lil Pump.
Lil
definitely,
Pump is on that cadence of like he's gonna drop a single. I think it was for the Harvard Dropout, right? It's not. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not a Lil Pump fan. Like there's a couple songs that
You
I
can
mess
respect the
with.
kid.
Yeah, I respect what he's doing because he's taken that non-traditional SoundCloud kind of platform and how artists get exposed, but then has, you know, pivoted into almost a classic, you know, kind of artist life cycle of album, right? So he'll do. I think Sked or whatever was the first single, and then it was Multimillionaire, and then it was I Love It with Kanye, and then he dropped Harvard Dropout, right? And there was some controversy sprinkled in there. He's like, oh, I'm not going to drop it, or I'm going to push it back. But still, it was very like single album, right? And just to amend to that, no real SoundCloud artists like that still stay and kind of really are considered, because Young Thug's not considered SoundCloud really anymore. He's considered
Not
a
anymore.
recording
Yeah,
artist,
he's done
right?
his own thing. He's got his own label.
But Pump will always have that SoundCloud kind of stamp on him, and to turn it around and kind of make it into what he's done now, I think, you know, for someone his age and honestly his IQ level, it's pretty amazing.
It's pretty unique.
He's an idiot. I'm not gonna lie. The shit that comes out of his mouth makes me just concerned. But at the same time, dude knows how to make a banger, so I cannot hate.
That's true. All right. Let's take a break and we'll figure out top five, and we'll come back.
Dope.